And by the way, that's your job anyway. We can't fund these programs, you can. Setting aside that no American in this country should face financial ruin because of a health issue. Certainly 9/11 first responders shouldn't have to decide whether to live or to have a place to live. And the idea that you can only give them 5 more years of the VCF because you're not quite sure what's going to happen 5 years from now, well, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen 5 years from now. More of these men and women are going to get sick and they are going to die. And I am awfully tired of hearing that it's a 9/11 New York issue. Al-Qaeda didn't shout death to Tribeca. They attacked America, and these men and women and their response to it is what brought our country back. It's what gave a reeling nation a solid foundation to stand back upon, to remind us of why this country is great, of why this country is worth fighting for, and you are ignoring them.
Hi everybody, I hope you're doing good. This is the second video I've ever made. I'm really excited. I watched the last one and I definitely said way too much. So it's my own goal to get better every day. And let's just talk about an interesting subject today. It's close to me. I'm actually going to be talking about health insurance. I work in the industry. I am a medical underwriter. So essentially what I do is I quote insurance, and so an employer is going to want to insure their employees, and essentially my job is to tell them how much it's going to cost for their employees, at the same time manage risk for my company and look out for extremely expensive claims. So I know a lot about the subject, and I think it's important for you guys to know about it too, because there's a lot of stuff that not a lot of people know about health insurance, and it's a huge topic. I mean, look at every time there's an election, you always have healthcare as one of the #1 issues politicians talk about. And I think it's extremely important to shed a light on it and find some middle ground where we can all agree on something at least.
I'll take that, Hernandez.
Hey, that's my paper, man. That's money.
This is drug money.
My money, man.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fill it out later.
Let's say you work for Amazon, right? And all of you are paying a certain insurance premium every month. It goes higher if you have children, if you have a spouse, and if you're single, you're going to get the cheapest health insurance. So essentially what you're doing is you are paying a premium every month, and that's pooled money. So what the health insurance company is going to do is they're going to use that pooled money to pay for any claims that somebody may have. So let's say you're somebody that has arthritis and you have really expensive medication. Essentially, if you're in a health insurance plan for like Amazon, you're essentially helping pay for somebody's medication because it would be too expensive for them to pay themselves. Insurance is definitely needed. At the same time, there's tons of problems in the industry, and I want to highlight a few of those. The first problem I'm going to highlight in the healthcare industry / in the health insurance industry is definitely pharmaceuticals. So pharmaceuticals are prescription drugs. Everybody has taken them at one point. But the thing about the pharmaceutical industry is that there are things called specialty drugs. And what specialty drugs are they help people out with chronic conditions. So let's say you have HIV. If you have HIV, you're going to have to be using specialty drugs, extremely expensive medication to help you live. And what pharmaceutical companies are doing are they know that only very small amounts of people have these conditions, so they're jacking up the prices of certain medications, so that in turn makes everybody else's healthcare more expensive. And I'm not talking just like $4,000 for a drug. I'm talking some of these drugs cost anywhere of $100,000 for people to pay for just to survive. So the pharmaceutical companies are the ones where it starts. That's where the problem starts, is pharmaceuticals. But here's the problem too. Nobody in Washington, D.C., whether you're a Republican or Democrat, has done anything about the pharmaceutical companies jacking prices up. It's terrible. They're their own monopoly, and people aren't doing anything about it because nobody's aware of it. Nobody takes the time to realize just how fucked things are. I pulled this website up just so you guys could get an idea of how much some of these drugs actually cost. This is AARP. The majority of their customers are older, so they might have a slight bias to this info. That being said, I trust the information because I have witnessed how much some of these drugs actually cost. So specialty drug prices soar to nearly $79,000 a year. The AARP report finds that the cost of specialty drugs averages more than 4 times the annual Social Security benefit.
There's your prescription, Miss McCormick. $100 worth of Ritalin.
Fanny won't have attention deficit disorder anymore.
We can only hope so. Next.
You might ask yourself, why should I care about specialty drug prices? The reason you should care is because your health insurance and the cost of healthcare in general are going to go up as a result of the pharmaceutical companies not being regulated. These companies fix the prices of their drugs and everybody else suffers in return. It does have a trickle-down effect on our economy when you think about the fact that healthcare prices on average are going up 12% every year, which equates to 1% a month, and wages in 2019 only increased 2.2%. So one thing I do want to highlight right now to finish the video is how if the prices of healthcare were cheaper in the United States, it would have a trickle-down effect on our economy. What I mean by that is if you had extra money that you saved from not spending it on health insurance, because health insurance is needed if some shit does go wrong, what would you spend it on? Would you spend it on a local restaurant? Would you go to Target, which does employ a lot of people? Where would you spend your money? It would increase our overall GDP if we did have a better healthcare system. Take the time to thank everybody, and if you made it this far and you were interested, thank you so much for watching the video. If you left and you weren't interested, you should probably wake the fuck up. This is the real world. This is the world we live in. That being said, thank you so much for watching the video, and I just want to inspire people to think about the things that are going on in this world. Nobody's going to change the world except for us.